Howdy. Well, I'm going to be moving soon, so I figured what better way to say goodbye than to give you one last look at the point of view that you've seen me from for fucking years now, you know? Get one last good look at it because it's going to change just a little. Anyways, I figured what better way to send you off than to update you about all the DVDs I got, since I'm bored and that's what I want to do. Alright, since my video where I showed you all my DVDs, I've gotten some new additions to the bunch. And here they are. The first one I'm going to show you, I got two of these that don't have covers, alright, so I know a lot of people are like, they don't have the covers? Why would you get that? Well, because I'm not picky. And for something like, Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, I am very not picky. So I got that. I like that movie. I do like that interpretation of War of the Worlds. I didn't think it was bad at all. A lot of people were like, shut up, it was good. And so was this. Red Eye. Red Eye was pretty good. I thought it was going to suck when I rented it. Like, I waited until, like, the last second to rent it. And then I was like, oh, this is going to suck. And it didn't suck. It was okay, you know. I liked it enough to get it for, like, $2. Anyways, next on the list, Big Daddy. You know you love this. You know you love this movie. Everyone loves this movie. I love this movie. Next on the list, Road to Perdition. The classic Sam Mendes, Tom Hanks film. And, you know, there are a lot of comparisons to be drawn between this and a movie came out this year, Public Enemies. Because they're, in a way, they're the same movie. You know, it's the same story told in different ways. Not exactly the same story. Of course, there's a lot of differences. But, I mean, it's like, the same story told from two different points of view. So you got the criminal aspect in Public Enemies. And, yeah, he's a criminal, but he's like the good guy kind of criminal. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, moving on. My Summer Story. A lot of people hate this movie. It is the sequel. A lot of people don't even know it exists. It is the sequel to A Christmas Story. The classic Christmas movie that they play forever and ever, every single freaking Christmas. This is the sequel, My Summer Story, starring that guy who was in freaking Beethoven, that girl who's been in a lot of different movies, and one of the Culkin kids. Who is it? Kieran Culkin. Yeah. And I like it, because I think it really follows the whole family ideal that you got in the Christmas Story, and brings it to a whole new level with the Summer Story. Gives you the summer aspect of it. And there's some almost depressing parts to it too. Anyways, it's good. I got this for $3. Yeah, $3 at Big Lots. Anyways, moving on up. El Mariachi. If you liked Desperado, if you liked Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and you didn't know about this, this is the first film in that series by Robert Rodriguez, and I have to say, in my opinion, it's the best. Now, I like the other two, it's just that this has a special feel to it that you can only get from having the low budget as opposed to the inflated budget, you know? And it's great. I loved it. And, of course, course, one that Dallin has been telling me to get for so long, and I am so glad that I finally did, because it is epically awesome. Once Upon a Time in the West. Yes! The sounds, the composition, the framing. I love everything about this movie. It's just, yes! And, yeah, it's one of these older cases, too. You know, it's 2-disc special collector's edition, you know, whatever. I didn't get it for that reason. You can get it for like $5 on Amazon. Anyways, Taxi Driver. This is probably one of Martin Scorsese's best films. It's a landmark film with Robert De Niro, and I swear to God, I mean, a lot of people look at this and they say, this is where Robert De Niro got his start. And he was so good in that movie. And he was really good. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just saying he wasn't the Robert De Niro in this film that he became in other films. I think he's like developed this persona in films that he's done where he's, you know, still good. You know what I mean? And in this one, it's like he's trying to be a tough guy, but he just comes off as an awkward, you know, self-absorbed type of character. And this has to be, in my opinion, his best work. I mean, I look at his work as a younger De Niro, and I'm like, what happened, man? You kind of fell into a rut and never got yourself out of it. What the hell's up with that? Classic film, great movie. Glad to have it. I wanted to wait for the Blu-ray, but it's taken too long for them to decide whether they want to put it out or not. Anyways, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, the first season DVD set. I had this before, and I gave it to a friend for his birthday, so I'm glad to have it back because the first season of this is really great. And if you haven't heard of it, I don't know. It's, you know, it's something where it's like, it's not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. I think it's fucking hilarious. But, you know, I think farts are hilarious too. I don't know. You know, you just have to try it out, and if you don't like it, don't go for it. And if you do like it, this is freaking awesome, you know? It's hilarious. It's so simple. It's, I don't know what else I can say about it. It's fucking Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Next, I could talk a little bit about this one too, because you won't know what it is probably. Mr. Show with David Cross and Bob Odenkirk. Now, Bob Odenkirk has gone on to do a lot of other things, and so has David Cross. I mean, David Cross is like, he was in, God, I can't even remember, that one show that everybody fucking loves that I hated. But, yeah. The thing about Mr. Show that you might not know that's really cool is it's where a lot of famous people really got their start. Jack Black, back in 1995 on this show, and he was freaking hilarious and great even then. I mean, every time I see him do a cameo on this, it's just, it makes me laugh my ass off because it's just classic Jack Black. And of course, Tom Kenny, you might not know by name too well, but he's the guy who's the voice of SpongeBob. So you know SpongeBob, right? Well, the guy who voiced him acted in this. You get to see him act, and there's some really freaking hilarious parts. There's one sketch where he plays Abraham Lincoln, and holy shit, like when you hear him start talking, and he's always been this voice guy, right? And when you hear him start talking, it's like, that's fucking Lincoln. It's great. Gotta check it out if you like skit shows, especially if you're a fan of Monty Python. I mean, it's like a cross, in my opinion, like a cross between Monty Python and SNL, which are two very different beasts. So to cross those together is a great idea, I think, and it worked really well. And there are 4 seasons of this, and this is the first and the second season, only like 5 episodes each. But it's really freaking good, and you have to fucking see it. Okay, it's great. It's classic. Now a lot of the stuff you might not even understand, or it might not be funny to you, because a lot of things that came after it borrowed heavily upon it. A lot of comedy stuff that came after it borrowed heavily upon like the comedy type of stuff that we saw in Mr. Show. And so it's since become kind of cliche and not as funny. But to me, looking back on it, remembering when I was watching this as like a 13-year-old kid laughing my ass off, it just brings back memories. And another thing I loved about it, before I throw this back here, another thing I loved about it was that the transitions, they would transition they would transition from sequence to sequence in a way that was seamless, because it was an HBO show, so they didn't have to do any commercials. So literally seamless transitioning between sequences for a full half hour. And that was freaking awesome. It was great. I love the way they did it on there too. Next, The Simpsons 4th season set. Like that too. Alright, yeah. Anyway, I am not a fan of the later seasons of The Simpsons. I might someday get those sets, but to be honest, I'm just not a big fan of them. I'm only a fan of the original, like 5 or 6 seasons, and so that's all I really want to get right now. And so far, I have seasons 1, 2, and 4 now. So I need 3 and 5 and 6, don't I? Yeah. Well, working on it, and I have been like overjoyed to see some of the classics on here. It brings back memories. It's great. These are the episodes you can't even get on TV anymore, but they were in syndication for so long that, hey, if you missed out, you missed out. No, I'm sorry. Anyways, last but not least, the only Blu-ray in this bunch, so you know I'm not a Blu-ray whore. Unforgiven, the Clint Eastwood modern classic, if you will. Now this is a Western, yes, but it's kind of like a Western that asks questions about Westerns. The story is asking you, it really, it puts this view, it's basically Clint Eastwood's view of what a Western really is. And his view is like, showing you the real cowboy and the real, gunslinger and what they're really going through, and like how it's not easy to kill somebody, and it just deals with that aspect a whole lot. It deals with the whole aspect of what we consider in a Western to be cool, or to be the good guy, or the guy to aspire to be, might not be such a great guy to want to be. And that's kind of what the message of this film is. But yeah, anyways, this looks freaking great on Blu-ray. I have to say, Westerns belong on Blu-ray, because Westerns created the panoramic views, the freaking long, beautiful views of the Western, civilization. And, if it weren't for Westerns, we probably would not have widescreen, period, today. Well, I don't know if I would say that, but I mean, they contributed a lot to that. They made panoramic views what they were. If it weren't for the Western, there would not be, like, half the stuff you see in movies nowadays would not be there. If you don't like it, if you don't like Westerns, I understand. But you have to appreciate what they have brought to cinema. And a great way of doing that is watching a movie like this, which is It's a Western, but it's a Western that picks on Westerns in a way, So it's definitely a good idea, and this was cheap. It was like $10. Like, I think it's $9, the Blu-ray right now on Amazon. Yeah, freaking, if you can, pick it up, because this was great. And that's it. That is it. That's all I've added in the span of a few months, because I'm broke and poor. Yeah. But we're moving. We're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Actually, no. It's a condo. But anyways, I'm really glad to be moving, honestly. But, yeah. The only other thing I wanted to mention before I go, I am going to be doing a video showing you the new place when I get there. But I have all my DVDs in a certain way right here, and honestly, I don't like the way I have them in order. The way I have them in order is like I'll have them in order between I keep using that word, between. I have them in order from, the directors. So I'll have a Spielberg section, I'll have a Coen Brothers section, I'll have a Scorsese section, and then I'll have a section based on comic books and a section for baseball movies and stuff like that. But I'm kind of tired of that, and it doesn't really fit with all, that I have. I just keep having issues with, not being able to fit something somewhere or another. And it's a hassle that So, what I'm going to ask you is, if you have any ideas for a clean, effective system of organizing your DVDs or your movies, then please help me. Because right now I'm considering a lot of things. But I just don't know. So, if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments. And thank you. Thank you for watching Stoutman at his current domicile. And I hope that in a few weeks, probably sooner than that, like a week or two, you'll be seeing me in my new domicile. So, without any further ado, I must bid you farewell. And bye-bye.